Hey, have you been watching the same videos I have? Is the market crashing? Well, stay tuned because we're going to look at what's really going on here in Orange County, and we're going to talk about what's real versus what's fake, okay? So stay tuned. This is Dean Odell with Seven Gables Real Estate in the Odell Group. It is May 29th, and we're going to look at the residential market right now. Let's get to the charts. Okay, so let's look at this first chart today. We're going to start with the total housing inventory. Let's see where we've been, where we were, where we are now. Look at this chart. It goes all the way back to 1992. And I was actually in the business back then. Wow, I'm getting old. Anyway, so 1992, and if you look at what the normal range of listings were, and then what happened when we got to 07. All of a sudden, it just jumped up, okay? That was the Great Recession. Yeah, I worked through that. I remember it very, very well. It was not fun. It was not easy, and it was not where we are right now. So let's look at where are we right now. You just keep going to the right. You can keep following the years, and there we are, where the yellow arrow is, 2024. This is reality, okay? So we need to look at how these numbers compare to historical demand, see how many houses are there really for each buyer that's out there. And you got to look at that supply-demand ratio, right? So let's go to the next chart and get started with that. Okay, so here we are. We're looking at the Orange County listing inventory year over year. Well, we're wrapping up May, which is traditionally the biggest listing month of the year. And this chart shows that's exactly what happened. If you see the red line, it is starting to kind of roll over a little bit. We still have 4,595 listings that are on the Orange County market right now. You could see how that compared to 2 weeks ago and how that compared to last year. Quite a bit of difference, almost 2,000 more homes. But look at where that 3-year average is prior to COVID, right? 6,370 homes. That's what the norm was. But let's compare. What does that look like relative to demand? And look what happened. We saw demand was kind of relaxed a little bit, and then boom, all of a sudden it went back up. Look at that red line. Now, why did it go back up? Well, let's think about where we were 2-3 weeks ago. We had tariffs, we had stock market scares, we had a bunch of stuff that made people pause. So looking where we are today, we have 1,621 homes that have gone into escrow over the last 30 days. That is actually up from 2 weeks ago and down just a tad from last year. So look where we are versus the 3-year average of 2,738. Now remember, that 2,738, that was against an inventory of 6,370. So if we really look at how that compares to where we are now, yes, we have lower demand. We have 1,621 homes relative to 4,595. So when you kind of look at how does that compare, yeah, we're probably a little slowed down compared to where we were prior to COVID, but we are certainly not in a great recession. And things don't just change overnight, you guys. So let's see what this means to the expected marketing time year over year. So we're looking at today's marketing inventory. It's 85 days. Yes, gone are those days where things just sold the second you put them on and there were multiple offers and people were bidding them up. Last year, we were only at 48 days. You could see we're up from that. And when we look at that 3-year average prior to COVID, we were at 70 days. So we've actually sped up just a little bit in the last 2 weeks. So what really you need to look at is where are you on the demand and supply chart, which we call kind of market time, the relationship between those. Where are you by price range? So if we look at where the sellers markets exist on this chart, they are all the way up to about 1.5 million. And that means that if you look at all those numbers, it's probably going to take you somewhere around an average of, 62, 63 days, somewhere in there, if you are in that price range. Now, once you move past that price range, you get into that 1.5 to 2 million range, it jumps up to 97 days. Looking at that $2 million to $4 million range, you can see that it's going to take nearly 4 months or more to get a house sold. And the current inventory is roughly 21% of the homes out there, but yet only 13% of the demand when you add all that up, right? So that is why we have a slight buyer's market in that price range. And then we move to the deep buyer's market over $4 million, and you can see how those numbers compare. As you can see, you really need to understand, if you're a buyer or seller, which price range are you in and how is this affecting you? So now we're gonna move on to my analysis of what's going on in this market right now. Look there's a lot of stuff out there. This is where the YouTubers go crazy, tell you the whole market's falling apart and everything. It's not in the data yet, okay? Could it head that way? I don't know what's gonna make it head that way. I mean, we have to have a certain amount of people buying and selling houses, right? So the only thing that is gonna affect prices is if inventory continues to grow, if interest rates stay up where they are. Eventually, these slight buyer's market and buyer's markets could move to the lower price ranges, but we've still got a long way to go. So that might happen, I don't know, maybe 6 months, maybe next year. I don't have a crystal ball. What happens if rates fall? Ask yourself that. What's gonna go on there? What if the SALT taxes pass and now everybody gets a write-off on their taxes, and all of a sudden the average person can afford $1,000 a month more because they can write off more of their SALT taxes, okay? So for those of you guys who aren't familiar with SALT taxes, look that up, because that's gonna be an important factor too for buyers on making a decision what they can really afford and what they can't, okay? That should boost almost every buyer by about $150,000 in price point if you actually look at the effect of that, if it passes at the level it's at. Beyond that, I just want to let you guys know there is a lot of activity going on there. I mean, you know, our team is up from last year, okay? And I know our company, Seven Gables, is up from last year. So there's a lot of doom and gloom out there. I think the only thing that's really changing is that sellers just can't count on the fact that prices are just going to keep going up forever. Things are starting to level off. We're not seeing prices really go down yet. Could it happen? Possibly. Is it going to crash? Nothing to indicate it's going to crash, okay? So could there be a world event? Could there be a war? Could there? Yeah, okay, but again, no crystal ball. We're just looking at the data, we're looking at the analytics, and right now, you know what? If you find the house you like and you're buying for the long term, I suggest you do it, all right? And let's hope rates come down. You can refinance later. Let's hope those SALT taxes pass. So that's it for today, you guys. And sellers, I'll tell you what, if you need to get your house ready, we're selling a lot of houses right now. We're making them look real good for people, and we're doing all the work and taking all the hassle out of it for you. So give us a call. You can reach us at the number on the screen and like us. We'll see you on the next Tustin Talks, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.